Dear viewer, today I want to bring into light to a topic which is of enormous importance to dog. Not only dog, all human and animal population. In order to keep health or in order to keep a dog free from diseases or health hazards, there are two components. One is the nutritional aspects. That means you have to supplement the nutrition so that all the physiological activities and metabolism of dog takes place in a very regular and efficient manner. Ultimately, the dog may gain weight and live a very healthy and playful and better life. But other component is that you have to keep your dog free from diseases. There are many diseases. If you consider parasite, we have mosaic of parasites. If you consider bacteria, we have a lot of bacteria. But I am telling about virus, which is very, very important. Nowadays, you know, the coronavirus creating pandemic and whole the world is being shaken. But in our dog population or in our canine world, our dog also suffer from some viral infection. Some of the viral infections are very deadly, or you can say fatal to the animal. Now let us consider what are the points to be taken into consideration regarding the whole vaccine phenomena. What are they? Number one is the colostrum. Nature has given good providence for every individual to grow and have their own capabilities of acquiring resistance. Here, the mother will give milk, and the first milk of the mother is very thick, yellowish in nature, and that is very much effective in regarding the protection of the pup. That means it contains immunoglobulin, which help to prevent the diseases of the pup to a certain age limit, right? And most important is the IgG antibodies. Now question comes, colostrum has to be fed. How long we will feed colostrum? In case of pup, at least 42 days, or if possible up to 2 months, we should feed the colostrum. That means mother milk to the pup. That's why I used to say that don't separate the pup before 2 months of age. If you separate the pups, in that case, pup may get problem because it will not get the nutrition at the same time immunoglobulin or protection. But again, the question arises, if the immunoglobulin contains of the colostrum continues for a prolonged period of time, and if you give vaccine in that case, in that period if you give vaccine may not work. So unless this immunoglobulin level goes down, the vaccine will not be potent. Therefore, that point has to be taken into consideration. That's why we say canine distemper, pups should be vaccinated at not before 8 weeks of age, right? So colostrum is also known as nature's miracle. Colostrum has got manifold functions that we'll try to discuss in another video. And this colostrum is very, very important, and deprival of colostrum is lowering the resistance of the pup. So long I was telling about the importance of colostrum. I think colostrum is a very big subject. It is not possible to describe colostrum in few lines. It cannot be contained in few words. Now I am telling you the vaccines. There are two types of vaccines. One is inactivated vaccines. If the inactivated vaccines are not nowadays generally given. Why? Because we have to give several shots. It is not possible to give several shots because duration is very, very small. Therefore, we should not encourage inactivated vaccine. But live attenuated viral vaccine is the answer. Now the question is this, how the vaccine is being produced? Nowadays, the vaccine is being produced, initially it was from mutated egg, right? From egg, germinated egg. And finally, we have come to a position for tissue culture vaccine. Live attenuated tissue culture vaccine. Sometimes some adjuvant may be added to it. But mostly live, culture, attenuated, viral vaccine, tissue culture vaccine, right? This is the go of the world. We use tissue culture vaccine for the purpose of protection of dog. And this gives, again the question comes, when you give vaccine, generally dose is 1 ml. Whatever vaccine it may be, suppose rabies vaccine, we give 1 ml. Root is, I will discuss about root later on, 1 ml vaccine you are giving. But the thing is this, a small Pomeranian having 5 kg or 10 kg weight and a Great Dane having 45, 50, 60, 70 kg weight, right? Giant breed. And this is a small pocket breed. Dose is 1 ml. How it is possible? Our common idea says that dose should be more. Many a times, many of the owners they used to ask us, Doctor, why you are giving 1 ml to a large dog? At the same time, you are giving 1 ml to a small dog. The question is this, the beauty of the virus is there. What is the beauty of the virus? Virus can replicate, and ultimately desired dose is acquired. So if you give 1 ml, that will replicate, and finally, what is desired for production of antibodies? That will be achieved. So there is no question whether you give 1 ml or whether you give 2 ml, that doesn't matter. Because the power of replication of the virus is more. At the same time, one adverse thing is also there, power of mutation, strain variation is also very important in case of virus. That's why sometimes we give one strain of virus, but they don't get result because the another strain has affected. There is strain variation, we call jumping of the virus, or strain variation of the virus, stunting and jumping of the virus, that is also possible. Again, most of the virus, when you are giving the instructions which is given in the label or the manufacturer, whatever instruction the manufacturer has given, we used to give vaccine accordingly. And this is a rational approach also, because the manufacturer knows in which unit it has to be given. We generally give the vaccine through subcutaneous route. Again I am telling, we are giving subcutaneous route means we are not giving vaccine. We are just depositing the antigen in a pocket, so that from the pocket the antigen will be released and ultimately antibody will be produced. So you are depositing the vaccine. Subcutaneous injection is just mere deposition of the vaccine, not inoculation of the vaccine, right? Sometimes there may be swelling also. Owner used to ask if there is some swelling. We used to say, we have deposited the vaccine. The swell may remain for some time and ultimately it will subside. That point is important, right? And many times we have seen many of the manufacturers, they say you can go anti-rabies vaccine through intramuscular route also. So I am telling you, you read the label first, then go for subcutaneous or intramuscular. If the label says it should be intramuscular, definitely you try for intramuscular, and if it is not so, try to go for subcutaneous route. But in case of rabies, I tell you, those vaccines, if you go give through intramuscular route, the intramuscular rabies vaccines are much more effective than subcutaneous rabies vaccine. It has been found out through study. Next factor is age factor. At which age I should give vaccine? I should give vaccine in age when the maternal antibody has receded. Maternal antibody if recedes, then you give the shot. So we'll have to find out that the maternal antibody has gone, receded. There is no maternal antibody, so I can give the antigen so that vaccine will be effective. At the same time, I tell you, not only maternal antibody means cholesterol antibody. Again, I tell you, body temperature has got some relation also. In pup, generally, body temperature is little lower. We call hypothermic pup or hypothermia in pup. In hypothermic pup, if you give vaccines, vaccine may not be effective. because a normal temperature is required. That's why when you go for vaccination, we used to suggest our helper that you measure the temperature. If the temperature is too low, as a result of debility, as a result of anemia, as a result of other vital causes, if the temperature is low, in that case it is not wise to give vaccine, because the lowered body temperature used to suppress cell-mediated immunity. Therefore, vaccine in early stage having such temperature should not be given. Similarly, in old age, when the animal has attained the age of 7 to 9 years, in that cases also the body temperature may go down or lowered body temperature. There also we must think of whether we should go for vaccination or not, unless the temperature is improved. So what I want to mean, that the temperature has got a bearing on the production of antibody. That means protection of a dog from vital diseases or cold diseases. Next I go to another point which is important to a great extent, is the nutrition. Nutrition is a great defender. In case of corona, people are telling that you take all nutritious drug, antioxidants you take, so that you can prevent corona. So this nutrition has got a very important things, because it creates a lot of physiological activities in the host. So if your animal is denied of nutrition, or if your animal is debilitated or emaciated, so if you vaccine the animal, vaccine may not be fruitful. That's why in that case what to do? You measure the animal. That's what I'm telling. The vaccine should be given under the supervision of a qualified veterinary doctor having registration number. I tell you, nowadays the practice of this place is that any paravet, any quack, anybody comes and give the vaccine without knowing the state of health of the animal, and ultimately suffer and comes to us. One thing you should remember, this is a very important precautionary measure which I am going to deliver just now, is that if there is vaccination failure or if there is a vaccination reaction, it is very difficult to reverse the process. But if it is due to infection, it can be combated with good antibiotic or other supportive therapy. So vaccine should not be taken as a very casual matter. Vaccine is not a casual thing. It may afford protection and it may destroy your life. And therefore vaccine should be given under the supervision of a veterinary doctor having registration number. This is my conviction. Now you can do or you may not do, that is your choice, but this has to be done like that, because a gentleman who does not know about the state of health of the animal cannot give the vaccine. He may not give the vaccine in a proper stage of dog. That is very, very important. I have seen in my life, a lady came with a vaccine card where I have seen that combined vaccine, distemper, parvo, etc., combined vaccine has been given in every month. So 12 months, every month he has taken money, and every month the vaccine has been given to the dog, and ultimately dog is in a pathetic condition. You see the fun? Because the man does not know this vaccine cannot be repeated like this. One after another, one after another, one after another. 12, every month he is giving distemper combined vaccine. I have seen in my life, and I have seen the patient. Again I have seen the other things. The dog's combined distemper vaccine has been given to a cat. He does not know the cat has got a different type of vaccine. Cat's vaccine against panleukopenia and others, calcivirus and others, is quite different. That has got no similarity with the distemper. Infectious canine feline panleukopenia virus is different. That vaccine is different. But somebody has given dog vaccine to a cat. See the fun. This is not to be given. So if you are not aware of the vaccine, if you are not aware of the state of health of the animal, don't go for vaccination. You go for other purposes. But vaccine should not be given. You can do the other things. There is no objection from anybody. But vaccine has not to be given by ordinary people who does not have adequate knowledge about vaccine, at the same time about the state of health of the animal. So that's why I am telling you the nutrition is a great protector, right? It is as protector and it can minimize the it can enhance the pure antibody level, right? Now the question is infection. When an animal has come to you, you record the temperature. If you find the temperature is more and the animal is also showing some other signs, that means the animal is suffering from certain diseases. If the animal is suffering from certain diseases, you should not give vaccine. Vaccine should not be given to a diseased animal, right? Or animal incubating the disease. Suppose in the locality disease is prevailing, going randomly, it is better not to give vaccine in that area because they will be incubating. Disease has not started, but it may start at any time. It is under incubation period. That's why many times we give vaccine, then vaccine starts. People used to ask, why the doctor, I have given vaccine again, it has come. Because we have given in the incubation period. This part also very important. If you give vaccine in incubation period, vaccine may occur. Disease may occur. So infection, or when an animal is suffering from infectious diseases, we should judge that this is infectious disease, first cure the disease, make it all right, then go for vaccine. Unless you make it all right, don't jump for vaccine. Wait for some time, then give vaccine. We have seen in case of dog suffering from canine distemper or generalized pneumococcosis, they produce T-cell depletion, right? Therefore, vaccine during this stage for any disease will be provided will provide inadequate response. So we should take care of the infection too, right? Disease having infection, animal having issue should not be given vaccine. Another very important point is that suppose a dog is suffering from some other diseases for which there is need of giving some immunosuppressive drug or immunodepressive drugs, right? You are treating a dog with some immunosuppressive drug. At the same time, date of vaccine has come up. Now the owner may ask, sir, should I go for vaccine because the vaccine date is due? But at the same time, you are giving treatment with immunosuppressive drug. What should we do? My suggestion would be, don't give vaccine when the animal is under immunosuppression or under immunosuppressive drugs, right? When animal is under treatment with immunosuppressive drugs, in that cases, vaccine should not be given. When the treatment is over, wait for some time, then give vaccine. And the most important immunosuppressive drugs is, as you know, corticosteroid, cyclophosphamide, then azathioprine, all these things, right? So this immunosuppressive drug should not be given. Because we want immunostimulant, we do not want immunosuppressant. Vaccines want immunostimulant, but don't go for immunosuppressant so that the value of the vaccine will go down, right? So it cannot produce immunity. Therefore, this type of drug should, when the animal is under treatment with this type of drug, we should discourage vaccination until when the treatment schedule is over, then we can think of vaccination. In that case, there is no problem for that. Now, when you go for immunization of pup, it can achieve in two ways: passive immunization and active immunization. Passive immunization, already I have told you, through placenta, or while the baby is born through colostrum or milk, right? During their placenta and milk, colostrum milk, that I have already told you, and that this contains passive immunization in pup. And following passive immunization, we'll have to go for active immunization, right? We'll have to go for active immunization through vaccination is mandatory. First passive immunization with colostrum, then active immunizations with viral vaccines. This is the go of the. Next, I tell you, one thing one should know, that maternal antibody has to recede. When the maternal antibody has receded, then you give the vaccine, you get the good result. But if the maternal antibody is not receded, you have given vaccine, so it will be neutralized. So there is, the effect is zero. So that part is very, very important. Many a times we do not do that. Now, let us consider certain points before vaccination. Vaccine should always be given to a healthy animal. That means healthy pup or healthy dog, whatever it may be. The animal should be healthy. Healthy, right? Healthy means all physiological norms are normal. Healthy means all the physiological norms are normal. Temperature, pulse, respiration, feeding, eating, feces, defecation, urination, everything is normal. So we can consider the animal as a healthy animal, right? And we can go for vaccine. Second thing, the animal having ectoparasitic burden like tick, mite, lice, flea, etc., ectoparasitic burden, right? In that cases, we should correct the ectoparasite, then go for vaccine. A dog having calamity with a lot of ectoparasites, don't give vaccine to that dog. Make it free from parasites. Because the ectoparasite, like tick and others, they also produce a lot of toxins. These toxins will go to the blood, circulation, and antigen will come into the circulation. So toxin and the antigen, they may react each other. Therefore, the ectoparasitic burden has to be removed or controlled or corrected before vaccination. Then endoparasitic burden. That means parasites which remain in the intestine or gut. For that reason, one has to examine the stool. Examine the stool, see whether there is any parasite. If there is any parasite, it has to be removed. Ectoparasitic burden is removed. Endoparasitic burden is removed. There is no parasite in the stool. Health is all right. Appropriate vitamins and minerals are supplemented. Then you go for the vaccine. I tell you, if you want to make a garden, what do you do? In the garden, a lot of weeds, a lot of other plants, a lot of undesired plants, right? Vegetations. So clear all this undesired vegetation or weeds, clear it, dig the mud, food, minerals, vitamins, etc., then sow the seed. Likewise, make the animal free from ectoparasitic and endoparasitic burden and improve the health with nutrition like vitamins, minerals, proteins, etc., etc. Now it is ready for germination. Now you give the vaccine. Just like field, when the field is ready for germination, you seed the seed. Right? So this is very important in relation to vaccination. Again, I tell you, vaccines are available from various manufacturers, so we should try to have potent vaccine from a reputed standard source. Right? Vaccine should be from a standard source because there will be vaccine failure. In case of corona also we have seen that they are saying this vaccine is good, they have said this vaccine is good. So there are a lot of controversies about that. Some are producing reactions, some are not producing reactions, some are safe. Right? So this is very important. That's why we should go for a standard vaccine if possible. Right? Non-standard vaccine should not be given and vaccine should be procured from a reliable source. Next important thing is cold chain maintenance. Cold chain maintenance vaccine, viral vaccines has to be kept under refrigeration. So starting from the manufacturer end, then storage, then up to the execution part, that means giving part, cold chain has to be maintained. Don't take 2 vaccines in your pocket and go and give vaccine to your dog. No, never do it. Keep it in refrigerated condition. Keep it in ice pack. Then give. Right? But at the same time, when you give vaccine to your dog, you should record the temperature prior to vaccination. If the temperature is high, don't give it. If the temperature is too low, don't give it. If the temperature is normal, then give it. That is also very important. Cold chain has to be maintained. Many times what happens, I tell you, in medicine shop, there is load shedding and others, cold chain is lost. And he is selling the same medicine. And the people, those who are getting that medicine may get problem. I tell you one of my experience. When Candur vaccine was available by Hext company, then Hext company, now Intervet, at that time, whatever vaccine I was giving, everybody is showing reaction. Everybody was showing reaction. Then I complained to the higher authority in Bombay. What is this? This batch, all the are giving reactions. Then they investigated the matter. Ultimately, they withdraw the whole batch because there are some defect in the batch. So it happens. Now I tell you, already I have told about dose, I have already told you about route of admission. This has to be followed as per the manufacturer direction or instruction. And already I have told you the immunosuppressive drugs to be discouraged. When the animal is under the immunosuppression or immunodepressive drugs, treatment, the vaccine has not to be given in those animals. Now I am telling you, in spite of all these precautions, as I have narrated, in spite of all the measures you have taken, still then, some vaccine may give some overt reactions. We call vaccine reaction. Recently I have seen 4 or 5 golden retriever dogs. All of them are vaccinated by a layman and all of them suffered. Now I am treating them. Now they are little bit relief. But one point I have already told you, if your dog suffers from vaccination reaction, chance of recovery is very, very less. But if your dog suffers from infectious disease, chance of recovery is optimum. That point has to be taken into consideration. Don't take vaccine as a casual thing. It is not a casual matter. It is a life-threatening matter. Therefore, one has to give a lot of attention back to vaccination. Right? Sometimes I have told you that reactions, in spite of all these procedures, all these precautions, still then there may be some reactions. Reactions may be immediate hypersensitivity. Within few days, a few hours, you'll find there is swelling, allergic reaction, this thing, that thing. Immediate hypersensitive reaction. So if you get immediate hypersensitive reaction or allergic reaction, you should give injection like adrenaline, antihistaminics, corticosteroids, etc. Right? One should have adrenaline in his bag to avoid such situation. Second, when you give vaccines with infectious canine hepatitis or adenovirus type 1 and type 2 both are there. Type 1, adenovirus type 1, infectious canine hepatitis virus. In that cases, there may be transient corneal opacity and bluish nature, we call blue eye. So you may expect blue eye out of your vaccination. So if you get blue eye due to a compound, that means canine adenovirus type 1 vaccine, sometimes it requires symptomatic treatment, sometimes it may resolve automatically, right? Sometimes it may resolve automatically, sometimes it requires treatment. In a nutshell, vaccine or vaccinology is a subject which is very vast in nature. Immunology is a vast subject. It is not possible to give everything in one video or one shot. But finally, what I want to tell you, that prevention is better than cure. So one has to prevent the animals, one has to prevent his dog, prevent the diseases of his dog, or one has to take preventive measures to safeguard the life of the animal with the help of vaccines. So vaccines is our treasurable tool, and vaccine is our savior. Our poor animals are being saved at the mercy of the vaccines with the help of veterinary physicians who are working on them. Thank you.
Hope you are liking our video today. If yes, like, share and comment. Also subscribe our channel. We will be coming soon with a new interesting video very soon.